pragmatic steps to improve the housing crisis in the UK. The Nationwide Building Society has recently suggested at the beginning of the year that the housing markets were beginning to move. However, the RICS, Registered Institute of Chartered Surveyors, appeared not to agree with this, stating that in fact the slowdown in the markets was showing no signs of improvement. Again, said Tom Roberts of FJP Investment, on the flip side, land registry figures show that registrations for properties seem to be on the increase again. As Tom Roberts says, all the reports differ and you choose to believe what you will. The media, of course, will have its own agenda. The simple fact remains there are just not enough properties being built for the current housing shortage. Of course, this is not a new situation. We discuss it constantly, but do we try to change it? One wonders. We believe action should be taken. Of course, miracles do not happen overnight. However, the government, whilst talking of taking this seriously and doing something about it, quite frankly, they are doing nothing at this present time. So what next, you may well ask? It is quite simple to the layman. We build more houses. Instead of debating the issues, the government needs to implement action now, ensuring the situation does not get worse than it already is. Of course, we all have different needs, and the importance here is that houses are built in areas where people want to live, such as areas that have great transport links, areas where there is employment to be had, and of course in rural areas where families want to stay within the family environment. It would seem that the brownfields versus the greenbelt areas is often debated to its end, whilst offering no solution and no development. We suggest that local councils should have a big say in this as to how these areas can be given planning permission, and maybe landowners should in some way be made to allow their land to be built on. It is such a waste that the land, whether it be greenbelt or brownfield, is there waiting to ease this housing crisis, yet no one is doing anything about it. And if this is not addressed, the housing crisis is simply going to get worse. Whilst the bodies concerned continue to discuss the ongoing crisis, don't they realise it is simply getting worse? Families are suffering with the lack of available accommodation in whatever form it takes. New buyers are no doubt in the situation where they may have to have the funds in place for deposits, but no properties available, and certainly not in areas which allow them to be able to travel to work whilst living in a community that they desire. Of course, as Tom Roberts of FJP Investment points out, the other problem is the council properties which were all bought under the Margaret Thatcher's government, meaning that for those who need council accommodation, as they cannot afford to buy, are left without the councils having any stock. Whilst this was great at the time to buy your own and obviously own via the council at such a reduced rate, I'm afraid it has more than contributed to the situation we are in. Now, I'm sure Mrs. Thatcher, during her day in office, did not envisage that you buy your own home scheme was going to lead the country in such a mess many years on, and more importantly, showing no signs at all of improving. In fact, quite the opposite, getting worse year on year. Again, it's simply free up land, make funds available, and let's get those houses built. To find out more about FJP Investment and the opportunities that we present to a global audience of investors, visit our website. It's www.fjpinvestment.co.uk.